Hello you all lovely people, aliens and non-specific creatures. Welcome to today's video. Featuring previously on Bangtan Chaos Squad. Everything's okay JK. No, nothing's okay. I understand you two are facing some hardships. But I thought what you guys have was a forever kind of thing. You cannot break up. Who the fuck said anything about breaking up?
You did.
I heard it all. I wasn't talking about Jin, you dumbass. I was talking about Sebastian. Is that your secret side hoe?
Sebastian is my bloody boss, you idiots.
So you're really not breaking up? No. Can we talk about JK though? He was a mess. Do you reckon we should talk to him? Talk to him. Jungkook showed you how to hack the chat, didn't he? Yeah. Boy in Love created a new group. Boy in Love set group name to Namjin Kook. Boy in Love added Boy with Love. Boy in Love added Little One. Jungkook. Get your golden buttocks here. Am I in trouble? We'll talk about how you taught Yoongs to hack into our private chat tomorrow. I'd like to make use of my right to remain silent. No matter if today or tomorrow, I won't say anything without my lawyer present. I am your lawyer. And let me tell you, it's not looking good for you. There's evidence of the crime you committed. Guilty or not, as my lawyer it is your job to keep me from going to jail. Or well, from getting locked up in Jin Hyung's closet. If you can't do that, I am gonna have to fire you, and hire Hobie Hyung instead. We're not here to discuss your legal business right now. Then what are we here for?
OMG.
You haven't decided on breaking up after all, have you? We weren't breaking up this afternoon. We're not breaking up now. Thank Nam Jesus. But this is exactly what we wanted to talk to you about. What's been going on with you today?
What do you mean?
You were a mess JK. Completely distraught and out of it. I've hardly ever seen you like this. Well, I thought you guys were breaking up. Can one not be concerned for two of the most important people in their life? Of course one can. Like Hobie, Yoongs and Jimin were. But something about you and Tae felt different. I think Tae just got super worried about you being so worried. I get that. But you were so caught up in everything, that you could hardly stop crying. You were looking at us, like we had just robbed you of all hope and joy in life. Come on. We've pretty much raised you. We know when something's bothering you. I'd rather not talk about it. Why not? It's quite stupid I think. We're putting up with all of you crackheads on the daily. We're used to the stupid. What Jin means to say, is that nothing that's bothering you is ever stupid. You don't have to feel ashamed of your feelings. But you might laugh though. No we won't. Well, I might. But just a little bit.
Kim Suk-jin.
Get it together. You should be encouraging him to share his feelings. Right, sorry. I'll hold back the laughter, I promise. You're unbelievable. Don't listen to him JK. You can tell us anything. If it's something that makes you feel upset or worried, we won't ever find it stupid. Yeah, in all seriousness.
You know you can say I'm not okay.
And we'll be there to listen. Always. I mean, if you really don't want to share, we won't force you. But maybe you'll approach us when you're ready? Okay, I'll do that.
12 seconds later.
I'm ready now. Wow. You change your mind faster than I rap. What happened? Jin Hyung made me a cup of hot chocolate. Always works for Hobie, so I thought I'd give it a try. That was real smart, not gonna lie. Okay, go ahead JK. What's going on in that little brain of yours? Well, when I heard you say all these things the other day, my heart sank. My body was flooding with sadness. I really thought you were talking about Jin Hyung. Which now seems quite dumb, since there were zero signs of you two having any issues. But you never liked to worry us, so I thought maybe you were just hiding it really well. Anyways, the idea of you two not being together anymore, that was so scary to me. Just the thought of it made me question every single thing I thought I knew about love. What do you mean? Well, it's no secret that I look up to you both a lot. But even more than that, I look up to your relationship. To me, you guys are the definition of love. You have been for a long time. So when you seemed to be breaking apart, I didn't know
how and what to feel.
And the thought of all that crumbling really frightened me. If the two people who define love could fall apart, then surely so could everything else. I started questioning if forever actually exists, and so I was afraid that sooner or later, Tae and I may be facing the same horrible fate. You thinking of me and June as the definition of love, just may be the cutest thing I've ever heard. But I don't quite understand why you think that highly of our relationship. And what does our relationship have to do with you and Tae? That's a long story. We got all the time in the world. Okay, well, I never thought it was possible to love someone before even knowing them. But the moment I first saw Tae, that's exactly what happened. I knew nothing about this guy. He was a complete stranger, but somehow I felt like I was coming home to him. Within fractions of a second, my heart just decided. It's him. I don't want anyone else. And just like that, my whole life flipped upside down. Every feeling suddenly felt so much deeper than before. It was like the world's gravity had switched off, and Tae had become my new pole of gravity. Everything was pulling me towards him. No matter how hard I tried to resist, it was no use. It felt like drowning. In the best way possible, but also in the worst way. Because I saw no chance of us ever being together. At least not in the way I wanted for us to be. It felt like I was being pulled into the direction of something that was absolutely hopeless. I thought that's what my life was gonna be. Years and years of longing for something that just wasn't written in the stars. First, I felt hopeless because I was still in the closet. And so was Tae, which I didn't know about. I'd been taught to believe that unless stated otherwise, boys like girls, so I assumed Tae did as well. Until the day he came out to me. I wasn't ready to tell anyone else, but I told him that I liked boys too. Not because I was hoping that we actually stood a chance now. Just because I wanted to be able to breathe around him. I wanted him to know me. And love me. The real me. But even if there was an actual chance of him ever loving me the same way I loved him, we were part of the same band. Part of an industry that dedicated a whole paragraph in our contract to making sure anything gay was to be kept private. Now I'm comfortable and confident, so it's funny to joke and play around with the whole no exposing the gay thing. But we all know it's holding us back. It's not great now, but back then it was so much worse. It felt like I had to make a choice between the band and Tae. Which seemed stupid, because I didn't even think Tae liked me like that. Him and I just felt impossible. All of us grew closer by the day. We became a family, which made so many things easier. But it also complicated things. I thought we were supposed to see each other as brothers. All of us. And I felt guilty for not being able to see Tae in that way. There were moments between us, but I thought it was just my imagination driving me insane. And even in the few rare moments, when I let myself believe that maybe Tae was in love with me too, I had to push the thought away. Now I don't really understand why it seemed so clear to me then, but I was certain that we could never be together. That this was just one cruel twist of the universe, making me fall for someone who's out of my reach, despite standing right next to me. But one day almost 3 years ago, everything changed. The two of you sat all of us down in the living room. You looked at each other, and reached for each other's hands, that seemed to fit perfectly. You told us that you had fallen for each other. And that you wanted to be together. It wasn't a question of whether we were okay with it. Not that it needed to be, of course we were okay with it. But you knew what you wanted. Each other. And you were willing to fight for that, no matter the consequences. That night, I lay in bed, and for the first time I felt hopeful. I thought that if you two had the courage and strength to make it, then maybe, just maybe, one day I would be brave enough to tell Tae about my feelings. That maybe he'd tell me he had felt the same all these years. And that maybe, I'd get to actually live all this love I had for him. You both have no idea how much lighter my life got ever since that day. Yes, it took Tae and I a while to make it, even after that. But suddenly, I allowed myself to hope. And to dream. Your love did that. Your love gave me hope. It felt like I was learning all about love, just by watching you two look at each other. Every difficulty that you got thrown your way, you guys overcame it together. Namjoon Hyung struggling to separate being the leader from being a boyfriend. Big Hit finding out about your relationship, and not being very happy about it. Any other obstacle. You got through it. You came out of every storm together, with even more love and respect for each other. You managed to remain best friends, while also being so much more than that. To me, all of that became the definition of love. If someone had asked me what love was, I would have shown them a picture of you looking at each other. So when I suddenly thought all of this was falling apart, it frightened me. Surely if you, the pinnacle of love, could break apart, then everything else could too. I was afraid that maybe love wasn't meant to last after all. Tae and I have only been together for a few months. After all these years, everything has fallen into place. I finally get to live the love I'd been keeping safely locked inside for so long. Right now, I am the happiest I've ever been. With Tae. And I got so scared, that this was going to be ripped away from me. That I'd feel hopeless again. That if you two lost each other, maybe I'd eventually lose Tae too. Jungkook. I had no idea. This really hits. I'm pretty blown away. Told you guys it was a long story. But now you might understand why I was acting so strange today. And why I may have gotten a bit more emotional than everyone else. It wasn't just about the both of you. It was also about you being terrified of losing Tae. Yeah. Listen, Jungkook. Hearing how our love gave you hope really makes me feel proud and happy. I always knew that you're our biggest supporter, but now I understand why. You believing in our relationship like that is heartwarming. But you need to understand that Jin and I are not the definition of love. There's as many definitions of love as there is people in the world. Love doesn't begin or end with us, Kook. Not yours, not Tae's. He's right. Even if June and I were to ever break up. Which we're certainly not planning on. So please don't lock us up in any elevator again. I won't.
Promise I've already learned my lesson.
Good. So, even if June and I were to fall apart, it would have nothing to do with you and Tae's relationship. We can assure you, the love you and Tae share doesn't begin or end with ours. It couldn't. Because your love began way before Jin and I ever saw each other in that light. What do you mean? Well, unlike you, I didn't know how much Jin would. It wasn't love at first sight. More like love at 3,467,447th sight. Yeah, I just walked into June's room one day, saw him reading a book, and was like, well shit, guess I'm in love now. Wow, thanks. How touching. Shut up. At least I had the guts to kiss you first. And then you ran away, so I had to chase after you to kiss you again. But I had the guts to ask you on a date first. And I had the guts to ask you to be my boyfriend first. And I'll have the guts to ask you to marry me first. Then I'll have to guts to Hyungs? I'm still here, remember? Yes, of course. Sorry. Right, what I was trying to say. Before I fell for Jin. You know what I would have shown someone, if they had asked me for a definition of love? What is it, Hyung? This. OMG, look at Tae. He's so
Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
so cute. That smile. I love him so much, OMG. My sweet little babies were even more baby back then. Where has time gone? Okay, I was trying to make a point, so can you all get a grip? Oh right, sorry Hyung. Your fault for hitting me with this picture, but go ahead. Well, as I was saying, before I fell for Jin, this is what I would have shown anyone who asked me about love. Because you may have felt hopeless then, JK. But I sure as hell didn't. I believed in you and Tae before I believed in Jin and I. So in a way you once were my definition of love too, I guess. To some degree at least. Really? That's so crazy. You may think Jun and I taught you a lot about love. But in many ways, you and Tae taught us about it. Even when you weren't together yet. And you keep teaching us to this day. I look up to your guys' relationship in many ways. You do. Of course. How? I love Jun with all my heart. But some things about him, I simply cannot stand. For example, him leaving his socks everywhere. I really have no love for that at all. I hate it. And it drives me. There's nothing cute or quirky about it. It's not one of these flaws that make me fall for him even more. I wouldn't miss it even slightly if he stopped doing it. And if you asked me whether I'd want to change something about Jun, I'd yell yes, and end this sock debacle. Dramatic much.
I never signed up for your drama.
Because I love Jun as a whole, I can see past these things of course. But that doesn't change the fact, that there's these things about him, that I cannot see anything positive in. Now, tell me one thing you hate about Tae, JK. There's nothing. I know. You wholeheartedly love every last particle of him. Even his bad qualities, you find something positive about them. And once you find the positive side, you fall in love with it. That's why you've never said a single bad word about Tae behind his back. Because there's nothing about him that you can't fall for. I really admire that. It's not hard finding ways to fall even harder for someone as incredible as Tae. I admire the gentleness you guys have. You both treat each other with such care, choosing every word so carefully as to not ever hurt the other. Jin and I just slam words at each other sometimes without thinking. And we regret it later, so we can definitely still learn from you. Also, your way of dealing with Tae living in his own little bubble is astounding. Him having created his own little world is adorable, but sometimes it really drives all of us insane. Well, apart from Jimin, but that's just soulmates being soulmates. But unlike us, you never run out of
Patience.
with him. You've gotten to know Tae's world, because you wanted to become part of it. And you have. You see the world through his eyes, as well as seeing it through your own. It amazes me. I guess what we're trying to say, is that you've
Found a love.
that is all yours. You don't need us to define love for you. Notice how you were speaking in past tense earlier? I really don't need a grammar lesson right now, Hyung.
Oh my God.
That's not what I mean, you dumbass. You spoke in past tense. You said that if someone had asked you to define love, you would have shown them a picture of Jin and I. I don't think that's what you do today, is it? Judging by all the things you told us about falling for Tae, him becoming her center of gravity, feeling like drowning. I think you defined love for yourself, way before Jin and I ever even thought of each other as anything other than friends. Don't you think? Now that you put it like that, I guess you're right. Maybe because I saw no hope for Tae and I desperately latched on to the thing that came closest to
That kind of love.
which happened to be your relationship. I may have started to vicariously live through it a little bit. And I guess I could have let go of that, now that I finally get to be with Tae. But I might have missed the moment of letting go. Or maybe I wanted to miss it, because to me, everything still feels so unreal. I still can't believe Tae and I are actually together, and sometimes I'm just so scared it was only just a dream. That someday the universe will flip the switch, and be like Bish you thought. So maybe you're still holding on to our relationship so tightly, so you'd have something to fall back onto. Because you're scared of losing Tae. Is that a normal thing to be scared of? Well, in the beginning I was scared too. I hardly dared to disagree with Jin on anything. That it would result in a fight that I'd lose him over. And now look at us. Sometimes we bicker all the time, and over the most stupid things. That only works because now I'm never scared of losing him over anything like that anymore. Earlier, when you said that you thought Namjoon wanted to break up with me, I wasn't afraid. Not even for a moment. I knew that whatever you heard must have been a misunderstanding. Because I feel so secure in our relationship. But it wasn't always like that. In the beginning, I was scared to open my eyes in the morning, because I was afraid June wasn't gonna be there anymore. It was pretty bad, but now I don't even really think about these things anymore. I guess things like that just take time. You and Tae have only been together for some months. You went through a lot of pain to get to where you are now.
Every little past frustration
Isn't just going away, now that you're finally with him. Those years before that are engraved in your mind, so I think it's no surprise for you to be afraid of losing a love you thought you'd never have. But I believe that the longer you're together, the more the pain of those years will fade, and you'll be able to hold on to Tae less tightly, without the fear of him slipping away. Be patient with yourself, Koo. And talk to Tae about it. Ask him if he feels the same. Or if there's anything he can do to lift a bit of your fear, let him know. I think it's just a me thing, that Tae really can't do much about. He gives me no reason to be afraid. He's literally so great. I love him so Hyungs. I feel like I get struck by lightning every time he looks at me. I'm happy to tell you that while the fears will fade, this feeling won't. I describe it more like an earthquake of the heart, but yeah, that doesn't go away. I love how you're indirectly flirting through giving me advice. #goals. #shut the hell up. Thank you for listening, Hyungs. And for making me understand a bit more. Thank you for sharing. I hope you believe that your love doesn't begin or end with ours now. I do believe it, and I'll take it to heart. I'll always be your #1 shipper though.
I will go down with this ship.
Didn't expect anything else from Captain Jungkook. I'll always be your #1 shipper too. But don't tell Jimin about that, or Mr. Self-Proclaimed President of Nation will kick me in the shins. By the way, that's another person looking up to your relationship a lot more than you know. Well, Tae and I are real fucking cute, so I can't blame him.
Language, mister.
Sorry. Jungkook? Yes, Hyung? I'm really proud of you. You are? I am, yes. Everything you told us tonight. How you got everyone together to help Jin and I, even if locking us up wasn't the right way. How reflective you are. How you're such a caring boyfriend for Tae. You've really grown up so much. And despite all the you cause, you've really become a fine young man. Well, I was raised by a bunch of extremely cool people, so I would have had to mess up real bad, in order not to become at least a somewhat decent human being. You're still our baby though. Our little terror bunny. Don't get that twisted. Gosh, why do they grow up so fast? Seems like it was only a week ago, when you were drinking banana milk from baby bottles, and watching Teletubbies. That literally was last week, Jin. Please don't get all sentimental, Jin Hyung. I've had a rough 2 days, I cannot handle you crying right now. Bish, please. I can keep it together. At least until I'm alone with the darkness of my room. Sounds like something Yoon Hyung would say. Maybe he's hacked into this conversation too, and is secretly watching. In case you're seeing this, Yoongs, are you proud of me, rat? If you buy me a maxi pack of banana milk each, I can always deinstall the hacking program from his phone. Deal. Deal. So, since you've had such a rough day, cuckoo, wanna come to our room? Watch a film in bed, and eat some
Ice cream, chillin', ice cream.
sounds really nice. But I think there's some things I need to talk to Tay about. And my pride continues. Plus, after everything, I'd really like to be with him tonight. Not just because I need to calm down, but also because he's been getting quite caught up in all of this too.
Is that alright?
Of course it is. Tomorrow, on the other hand, I'm all up for a sleepover. Gotta see if I still want you then. Rude. Okay, now go talk to that pretty little boyfriend of yours. Tell my precious angel I love him, and wish him sweet dreams. Will do. Good night, Hyungs. Thank you for everything. The hope, and the talk. Any day. Anytime. Love you both. Love you too. Love you 3. By the way, I may have spilled a little bit of hot chocolate on Jin Hyung's new carpet.
You ungrateful little brat. I will end you.
Go get to safety before he gets the slippers out. Little one has left the chat.
Unbelievable.
That was real fucking touching, wasn't it? Yeah, I literally forgot to breathe while he was monologuing about us, Tay and love. That was heart-wrenching. I had no idea there was this big of a reason why he's so invested in our relationship. And the way he talks about us and love. I think we just found the perfect person to hold the most heartwarming speech at our future wedding. Well, I don't know about you, but I've just found my best man. And now excuse me while I go bawl my eyes out, over our little one looking up to us like that. It's okay, babe. I'll be right there with that ice cream you were talking about. Then you can.
Fall into my arms.
Yes, please. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this chaos, please like and subscribe. Much love, amigos, and until next time.